Hello, Goshen Lane, fourth and fifth graders. Today, I do have a little activity that I wanted to record myself for you guys to watch. This is actually a book that I was read to when I was in elementary school, and I still remember it to this day. It was one of my favorite books that I got read to when I was in elementary school, and I did find it the other day, and I decided, you know what, today would be a great day just to relax and enjoy a story. There is no assignment to go with this. But before I start this book today, I do want to take a second for you to pause the video and tell me one thing that you miss doing since we are trying to stay safe and being in our houses. I want you to tell me one thing that you miss being able to do or miss being able to go other than school. I know a lot of you guys do miss school right now, but I want you to tell me one thing that you are missing. For me, um, I really do like going to get my hair cut, and as you can see, my hair is getting a little longer because barbershops are shut down right now. So that's definitely one thing I am missing, other than going to school and seeing all you guys and getting to teach you. I do miss going to get my hair cut, and there's a good chance I might take take it into my own hands and cut my own hair, and we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys updated there. So today, the story that I'm going to read is called Miss Nelson is Back. This is a story, like I said, this is a story that I was read to in elementary school. I remember it. I forget what teacher read it to me, but it was one of my favorite stories. It is a good story, and I'm going to read it to you guys today. So you guys do not have an assignment other than leaving a comment of what you're missing doing during this time. Today is a beautiful day, so I hope you got to go outside and enjoy maybe playing in your yard or doing something outside active. But let's take a few minutes here, and I'm gonna read you a story, and you guys can enjoy it. Okay, Miss Nelson is back, and this story is by James Marshall. Miss Nelson is back. One Friday, Miss Nelson told her class she was going to have her tonsils taken out. "I'll be back next week," she said, "and I expect you to behave." "Yes, Miss Nelson," said the kids in 207. But at recess, it was another story. "Wow," said the kids. While Miss Nelson is away, we can really act up." "Not so fast," said a big kid from 309. "Haven't you ever heard of Viola Swamp?" "Who?" said Miss Nelson's kids. "Miss Swamp is the meanest substitute teacher in the whole world," said the big kid. "Nobody acts up when she's around." "Oh," said Miss Nelson's kids. "She's a real witch," said the big kid. "Oh," said Miss Nelson's kids. I'll just bet you get the swamp," said the big kid. One Monday morning, Miss Nelson's kids were all in their seats. They were very nervous. Some of them had not slept well all weekend long. "If we get the swamp, I'll just die," said one kid. They heard footsteps in the hall. Slowly, the doorknob turned, and the door opened. It was Mr. Blansworth, the principal. "I shall personally take over this class," he said. Miss Nelson's kids were so relieved, but they soon learned that Mr. Blansworth, was not fun at all. All morning, Mr. Blansworth tried to amuse the class with corny card tricks. "Oh, brother," said the class. That afternoon, Mr. Blansworth showed the class his favorite shadow picture. "This is kid stuff," said the class. The next day, Mr. Blansworth demonstrated his favorite bird calls. Call! They were not at all successful. And for 2 days, Mr. Blansworth showed slides of his goldfish, Lucy. Miss Nelson's kids had never been so bored. While dusting erasers in the schoolyard, three of the ringleaders of 207 discussed the situation. "Something will have to be done," they said. "We must get rid of Mr. Blansworth." And they hatched a plot. After school, they painted and sewed and borrowed some old clothes. and they practiced some very difficult stunts and stunt work in the backyard. The next day they weren't in class. That's too bad, said Mr. Blansworth. They'll miss all the excitement. Mr. Blansworth was about to show the class his collection of ballpoint pens from all over the world when someone came to the door. Slowly the knob turned and the door opened. "Oh, look," said the class. "Miss Nelson is back." A tall and lumpy Miss Nelson trotted into the room. Mr. Blansworth was surprised. "You're back sooner than we expected," he said. The tall and lumpy Miss Nelson didn't speak. Said the kids. "Her throat must be sore." "Are you sure you're well enough?" said Mr. Blansworth. "She's sure," said the kids. "Well, in that case," said the principal, "I'll be getting back to my office. Nice to have you back, Miss Nelson." And he left the room. "Hot dog," cried the class. "We got rid of Mr. Blansworth. Now we can just do as we please." And at the stroke of 10, the kids from 207 left the building. No one stopped them. They went straight to the movies, where they saw The Monster That Ate Chicago twice. "This is really living," they said. Afterwards, they went to Lulu's, where they stuffed themselves silly with ice cream. But soon, they made a serious mistake. Heading back to the school, they passed Miss Nelson's house. Miss Nelson couldn't believe her eyes. "Those are my kids," she said in a scratchy voice. "What are you guys doing out of school? And who is that with them?" Miss Nelson telephoned Mr. Blansworth to see what was going on. "You're not Miss Nelson," said Mr. Blansworth. "Miss Nelson's back in school." And he hung up. "Can't fool me," he said. Said Miss Nelson. "Something will have to be done." And she went to her closet. Back in 207, Miss Nelson's kids were spending an agreeable afternoon. They were very pleased with themselves. "We should do this more often," they said. They did not notice the figure outside in the hall. Slowly the knob turned on the door and the door opened. I wonder who's going to be there this time. "My name is Viola Swamp," said the lady in the scratchy voice. "Yips," cried the kids. "No, the swamp." "That's right," said Miss Swamp, "and I'm here to whip this class into shape. Get back to those desks, on the double." The class did as they were told. The big kid from 309 was certainly right. Miss Swamp was a real witch. She knew how to get results. The kids did a whole week's worth in no time. We shouldn't have gotten rid of Mr. Blansworth," they said. "Pipe down," said the Swamp. Or, just then something under a desk attracted her attention. It was a mask. "Ah, ha ha," said the Miss Swamp. "So that's your little game." And she tried on the mask, just as Mr. Blansworth stepped into the room. "Miss Nelson?" said Mr. Blansworth. I'm of the opinion that someone has been impersonating you." "Uh-oh," whispered the kids. "You don't say, Miss Swamp," said Miss Swamp. "Probably just some kids acting up. I'm sure it won't happen again." And Mr. Blansworth left. And it won't, will it?" said Miss Swamp to the class, "because the swamp will be watching if it happens again." A minute later, Miss Nelson appeared. "I'm back," she said. "Hot dog," cried the kids. Are we glad to see you? Didn't you have fun with Mr. Blandsworth? Asked Miss Nelson. Said the kids. They decided not to mention Miss Viola Swamp, but they wondered why Miss Nelson hadn't seen her in the hall. So, if you didn't notice, Miss Swamp was actually Miss Nelson, and she tricked the kids because the kids tried to trick the principal. This is definitely one of my favorite stories that I remember being read to. It is an older story, but I hope you guys enjoyed it today. I hope you guys got to listen to a story that Mr. Shrake was also read to when he was younger and when he was your guys' age. As I said earlier, I hope you guys are all continuing to do well. I have seen you guys completing lots of work this week. It is Thursday. I want you guys to finish strong. We have one more day this week that I want you guys to continue doing your work, paperwork and online work. I have uploaded 2 more Kahoots on multiplication today that I want you guys to work on. And when you guys do those Kahoots, it lets me know how you guys are doing. So I want you guys to make sure you're trying your best, continuing your best work. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Just like when we do group time at the carpet, these are just some stories that I want to read to you guys, and you guys can listen and pay attention and enjoy them. Other than leaving a comment at the beginning, either on Google Classroom or in YouTube in the comments down below, if you scroll down, you will be able to leave a comment on YouTube about what you'd rather be doing or something that you miss doing. Like I said, my haircut, that's something that I miss being able to do during this time. But I hope you guys really enjoyed the story. I do miss you guys. Stay safe. Stay inside. Make sure you're keeping your distance if you're around others. And stay safe. I do miss you guys all, and I hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.